So, what are the subtle indicators, the less than apparent signs, the easy to overlook hints that suggest this world is becoming a tad radioactive? Well, I caught a fish the other day. You know, it's what cats do, and it glowed. Naturally, this had me less inclined to consume it. Then it became 100 feet in height, and chased me all over the studio. It was a little like Fishzilla, I suppose. I was half expecting some badly dubbed Japanese subtitled commentary to boom out over the mic. But, as I say, the subtle indicators of radioactivity are there. Cat Cosmic here. I have more words to share from Duane the Great Writer, and the all is. Can the Nupresentation be considered an advanced science? This was how Paul Twitchell termed it, as the ancient science of soul travel, which made sense. Duane will tend to present it with the terms that make sense, according to what he sees. The literal pull is very strong here, and we all want answers. But there is a bigger and better part that can't be figured out. It's always open, like an open door, letting in the fresh air. Many avenues can be used, but the main frame is the isness, and this will always be questionable, as you can't figure it out literally. During Paul's day, the isness was written about, but it wasn't focused on and discussed. These aspects can be brought in science and maybe astrology to try and explain the is, but this is where it can become confusing. Whether people understand it or not, the Nupresentation is defined with the isness, life is, the all is, and that's it. Many avenues are utilised, like the walk with Rebas are, but overall the Nupresentation is with the isness, like a corporation that has many sub-corporations, but the main corporation is what it is. The main part of the Nupresentation is always the isness, and everything else becomes an offshoot. The worldwide educators, etc. This must be kept in mind, because things very quickly can become obscured. Often people will decide the Nupresentation is something that it is not. People become self-convinced about the nature of it. For many people, it's a cult. it's satanic, etc. Then there are those who sincerely read the books and see that it is wonderful, and they are appreciative of what is presented. So it's a complete spectrum of how it is considered by people, and this is in the personal area. Realistically, it's about getting people to a point where they can see and understand what the Nupresentation is providing. It is a reference, and the best reference to the isness. But it's hard to get people to see that. The sincere reality of what is being presented. So using the term science is fine. It can be presented this way, but best to define it a little, as the reality of it is not science or astrology. It's like the sun shining. We're on the earth and have all these personal things, but the sun doesn't need anything that people need, because we are still in a particular position of being limited to where we decide to be unlimited. There are no limitations or boundaries with the whole of life, but it's a case of being real with it. The Nupresentation is a corporation, and there are aspects of it that do business, but that's just an aspect of it. The business world and what the corporation that Paul created has become is just a business. The world and life itself in this realm needs something to relate to realistically that makes sense, and the world is struggling. So we want to keep the ideas of it in a proper perspective too, and that takes a responsibility for those stepping up and presenting it, to not turn it into something it is not, or like everything here, it becomes distorted. The United States started off as a good idea, but was planned deception from day one. Some people had good intentions, but to stand real with it is a toughie. Our position is a struggle as to how things are here, but that's the best part. It's a challenge. People really do have to get involved, or they'll just label it as a cult, or a religion, or a spiritual path. They will be self-convinced, which is a pity, as it's all for them. It's for the world. People will have a chance to do better than the struggle of this world. Well, now Fishzilla has stopped rampaging around the studio, he has asked me how radiation created monstrous fish fit in with the whole scheme of things. To be honest, I'm not sure 100-foot tall fish fit in anywhere especially well. Maybe he can star in the next Jaws movie, or perhaps be Godzilla's next opponent. That's an idea. Maybe I'll go look for a radioactive fisherman. He can grow 200 feet tall and deal with my oversized fish problem. Well, speak to you soon, and my advice is, if it glows, chuck it away, or use it as a novelty light bulb or something.